For this video project, I spent time digging into the article, Staying Spiritually Healthy in Ministry. I also got to talk with two leaders that I really respect, Pastor Kyle and Pastor Rachel Hopkins, about how they stay spiritually healthy with everything ministry requires. This is something we all need because while ministry is incredibly rewarding, it can also be spiritually draining if we're not guarding our own walk with God. And that doesn't just happen automatically. We have to be intentional and purposeful about it. One of the biggest takeaways from the article was this: our walk with God has to stay separate from our work for God. Reading scripture for a sermon or praying for someone isn't the same as spending personal time with Jesus. Our walk is private, often unseen, but it's what sustains us when ministry is hard. Both Pastor Kyle and Pastor Rachel emphasize this. Pastor Kyle reminded me how important it is to be in the Word, just to be with God, not for prep or to teach, just to connect. That's where everything else flows from. So how do we stay spiritually anchored? We stick to the basics: devotional Bible reading, different forms of prayer, praying in the Spirit, honest journaling about our regular life and ministry life, even if it's just once a month, and turning the ordinary into sacred moments like ongoing conversations with God throughout the day. Pastor Kyle mentioned prayer and fasting as ways to stay grounded, especially during spiritual attacks. And Pastor Rachel reminded me that even short prayers, just calling on Jesus, can bring peace and remind us He is in control. Something Pastor Rachel said really stuck with me. Leaders need to be spiritually fed too. If we're always pouring into others and never receiving, we will burn out. She encouraged me to make time for sermons and podcasts or studies where I'm not leading, just receiving. That shift keeps our spirit refreshed and our well full. The article also reminded me if I'm too exhausted to love my husband or kids well, something is off. Ministry should never replace the people God's already put in our lives. That includes praying together or building Christ-centered traditions like family communion or reading the Christmas story before gifts. Pastor Kyle gave such practical advice. Don't bring other people's crisis home, and set aside a weekly night to be fully present with family. No distractions. That reminder really stuck with me. Ministry often pulls us towards work, but the article reminded me that a healthy person balances love, work, play, and worship. It also said something very powerful. We don't live in the events of our life, we live in how we interpret them. Philippians 4:8 gives us a filter to keep our thoughts healthy. Pastor Kyle told me to ask God, what season am I in? That clarity helps me prioritize what matters most and release what God isn't asking of me right now. Pastor Rachel reminded me that even seasoned leaders battle feelings of inadequacy, and we fight them with scripture and surrender, not striving. Ministry takes energy. We have to steward not just our time, but our bodies. That means sleep, movement, eating well, and real Sabbath rest. The article said no one has ever had a breakdown from doing the will of God, but plenty of people burn out chasing unrealistic expectations. God isn't asking us to be everything to everyone. Only Jesus can do that. Pastor Kyle encouraged setting boundaries by asking, is this truly urgent or can it wait? That mindset protects your peace and helps others too. Pastor Rachel also talked about the value of family time, quiet mornings, and reading scripture for personal growth, not just for ministry preparation. We also can't ignore the physical side of ministry. Stress, poor habits, no margin, those things take a toll. Our body is a temple, not a machine, and we need to treat it like one. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being confident. Small changes in how we eat, how we move, how we rest, they can make a long-term impact on our ability to minister well and finish strong. The article ends with this reminder: God not only needs you in the ministry, he needs you to be a healthy minister. That's what I'm walking away with. If I want to serve others well, I have to take care of my own soul first. That's not selfish, that is stewardship. Because the best way to lead, love, and last in ministry is to stay rooted in God, honest with myself, and close to the people who matter most. That's the kind of faithfulness I want to live out. Is that good?
Yeah. That was great.
Good. Good.
Great.
Okay.
That was really good.
Good.